Another thing that they had was called the, what you guys have seen as a kama. Now a kama in most martial arts is rather large. A kokama looks like this. It's quite small. Similar use that you have as a kunai, but it has the cutting edge. You can use it to cut. Again, you could use it to pry, and all this kind of thing, depending on what you need to use it for. But this is also one of the tools that the ninja would carry, the kokama. These are antiques that we get from the Edo period, and some of these are much different. So this is a saw that would have been used, and again has an edge on it. So unlike this, the kokama that has an edge, kind of like a knife, right, where you can cut. This particular one has it's serrated, so it's more like a saw. So you can saw through, you know, fences or wood or whatever that you're trying to, probably a fence or something like that. But this is an actual saw from the Edo period, from Japan, and that gives you an idea, a visual idea of what something like that would have looked like. Same thing over here. This is a hook, same period, antique. And they would have used this the same way to pry, hook, pull, open things up, just something small, compact that they can stick in their kit and then go on a mission. Now this next one is called a Kiri, and we know that this is also written in various ninja documents and scrolls, particularly in the Nippuden. And the Kiri, which is a pick, and they would take it and they would, the scroll says you would take kind of the saliva of a toad, because it's oily, and you would stick it in the wall and you'd start turning it. And the reason you would do that is if I just put this in the wood and I start turning it, it's going to make a sound, right? But you use the saliva of a toad, which is kind of like WD-40, if you will, just kind of a lubricant, and you can pry, you can make small little holes so you can listen to conversations or, you know, gain access or whatever. But the Kiri, again, is another particular ninki that they would take on a mission, again, depending on what the mission was. Tanto, again, this one's antique from the period. This one doesn't have all the other pieces to it. It's actually quite very raw, is probably the word I would use. But, you know, any type of knife or cutting edge that you would use on a mission. But they would do something like this. They would have various different blades, which we'll talk about blade fighting or tojutsu much later as we get to that section. But they would always have a knife with them at some point, in some way or another. They'd have some sort of a cutting edge. This is also antique from the Edo, and it's Kusari Fundo, right? This one would definitely be some sort of kokushi buki or hidden weapon. You know, you could take it, hide it, hold this, and, you know, hide it in your hand, and then use it in some way to throw and strike, that type of thing. But definitely something that they carried. I don't know that if you're carrying arms, weapons of war like swords and things like that, I don't know that this would be in your kit. But if you're trying to have something on you and you don't want to look conspicuous because you're going to walk around without having the swords and everything else, definitely something that would be very good to have on you if you were trying to move throughout a crowd in disguise and not carrying a large amount of weaponry.